Most of us probably know what's legal and what's not, or we should anyway. Don't steal, don't drive under the influence, don't vandalize or embezzle money, or lie under oath. These laws are pretty ubiquitous all over the world. But there are a lot of strange, puzzling, and downright ridiculous laws on the books. Some of them are new, others are old and simply considered too weird for lawmakers to bother changing. Welcome back to Weirdly Interesting. From illegal sounds to singing in the street, here are some of the weirdest things you didn't know were illegal. An ice cream cone in your pocket. It's a hot summer day, you go to an ice cream shop in Alabama and buy 3 scoops of strawberry ice cream in a waffle cone. But then you need both your hands to send a text message. So you put the ice cream in your back pocket? If for whatever reason you did this, then you'd technically be breaking the law in the state of Alabama. The ridiculous rule comes from back when horses were the main mode of transportation. Creative thieves would stick ice cream cones in their back pocket to lure their equine targets away from their owners. The problem was apparently so pervasive that lawmakers were compelled to make the tactic illegal. Unfortunately for the thieves, cars are not so fond of ice cream. However, the law still remains on the books, probably just out of laziness and the fact that it's absurd. But who knows, maybe there are still horse thieves out there who will think twice. They could just use an apple though. Insulting the King of Thailand. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you, unless you're the King of Thailand. Thailand's lèse-majesty law has been in effect since 1908. The term is French for to do wrong to majesty. Basically defaming, insulting, threatening, or otherwise talking trash about royalty. The idea can be traced back to Roman times when it became a criminal offense to insult the dignity of the republic and later the emperor. Many countries these days have some of these lèse-majesty laws, but Thailand's is considered by far the harshest. Insulting or criticizing the king is a big no-no in the land of smiles. While most countries have been gradually loosening their lèse-majesty restrictions, Thailand is the only country since World War II that has actually strengthened its laws. Each insult you make against the king can get you between 3 to 15 years in prison. The laws are considered the harshest defamation-type laws in the world and have drawn plenty of international criticism. Being obese. In the United States, it seems like there are fast food joints on every corner. The portion sizes when you eat out are enough to make a European's eyes pop out of their heads. As a result, America has an obesity problem. It's a fact that can't be avoided. There are mixed reports of how healthy or unhealthy people who are considered obese actually are. However, many studies have found that people who are obese, meaning they have a body mass of more than 25 to 30% body fat, will suffer health problems like diabetes, kidney issues, respiratory stress, and heart disease. There's a huge stigma surrounding obesity, and it's controversial. There are too many derogatory comments, too many bad jokes, too many people who feel ashamed or uncomfortable in their own skin because of insensitive and unproductive dialogue surrounding the topic. In Japan, the government took the whole issue to an extreme by simply making obesity illegal. In 2008, lawmakers instituted something that's been nicknamed the Metabo Law, which says that any man over 40 years old can have a waistline more than 33.5 inches, and any woman can have one more than 35.4 inches. If someone fails to meet the requirements, they must undergo counseling. This comes in a country that has one of the world's lowest rates of obesity, and the policy has been criticized as both crude and insensitive. Sure, it's good to promote healthy lifestyles, but there's a thin line between health and judgment. Literally thin. Being too thin or having less than 6% body fat is also medically proven to have negative health effects. An illegal sound. There are plenty of sounds that are plenty annoying. That old internet dial-up tone, a screaming baby on an airplane, a kid just starting to learn the violin. While you may wish some of these sounds were illegal, there's one sound that can land you a substantial fine if you're caught playing it. That sound is the one from the Emergency Alert System, or EAS. The EAS was set up in 1997 by the FCC to replace the Emergency Broadcast System. Its main purpose is to allow the President of the United States to hop on all radio and television stations if there's a national emergency. However, in the present era of 24-hour news and the internet, the system has become largely defunct. Despite this, using or reproducing the distinctive chirping or screeching tone that comes before and after the broadcast is very much illegal. The tone itself is a digitally encoded audio signal called specific area message encoding. We'd play it for you, but, well, you know. Going to the bathroom in the ocean? If you haven't peed in the ocean, then you either have never gone swimming in the ocean or have a superhuman level of self-restraint. If you have, then you're either just a normal person or a criminal in Portugal. In Portugal, it's illegal to relieve yourself in the ocean, despite the fact that fish do it all the time. It probably makes sense on crowded beaches, but the law itself is pretty impossible to enforce. And so far, the number of people fined for using the ocean as their personal toilet is exactly 0. The law apparently was attractive to legislators in the beach town of Vigo, Spain. In July of 2022, the town also made it illegal to pee in the sea, threatening a €750 fine for anyone with bladders full enough to not make it to a man-made toilet. Being tipsy in a pub. Common sense says that pubs are the one place for people to down a few alcoholic beverages, hang out with friends, and have a good time. However, in the UK, being drunk in a pub is technically illegal. You heard that right. The UK, England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. In a region known for its pub culture and excessive drinking, excessive intoxication within the friendly confines of a public house is against the law. It stems from something called the Licensing Act of 1872, which makes it illegal for the owner of a pub to allow a person to get drunk on the premises of his or her establishment. The Victorian-era law's roots were planted in 1839 with the Metropolitan Police Act, which stated that drunkards guilty of riotous or indecent behavior may be imprisoned. The law still technically stands. If it's ever enforced, violators could face a fine of £200. Why did the chicken cross the road? The setup for the famous joke may never be answered in the state of Georgia for one simple reason. Residents are forbidden from letting their poultry do it. The town of Quitman has a law in the book stating that it shall be unlawful for any person owning or controlling chickens, ducks, geese, or any other domestic fowl to allow the same to run at large upon the streets or alleys of the city. While the law is clearly written to make sure traffic isn't obstructed, it does point to the fact that there must have been enough chickens and enough angry drivers in the town to make the law necessary. It begs the question though, which came first, the chickens or the angry drivers? Making memes? Who doesn't love a good meme? Memes are everywhere on the internet these days. From Success Kid to Change My Mind to Ermagerd Girl, they've pervaded our social discourse and are frankly just really funny. The term itself actually comes from Richard Dawkins and his book The Selfish Gene, where he defines a meme as a unit of human cultural information transfer within the context of Darwinian evolution. The idea led to an entire field of study called memetics. But in the context of our modern, more lighthearted use of memes, there can be some pretty serious legal ramifications if you make one in the wrong way. It's fine to use images from the public domain, but there can be issues if you use copyrighted images. Two famous cases have involved cats. The creator of the Nyan Cat meme, featuring a furry feline playing the piano, successfully sued Warner Brothers for using the image in a game called Scribblenauts without their permission. And recently, the owner of the Grumpy Cat meme hired a lawyer and vowed to sue anyone who used the image of the famously unimpressed cat without permission. We'd show you the memes, but lawsuits aren't our thing. There are lots of weird laws out there. What's your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more weirdly interesting content.